Welcome back in. Welcome back in. It's your boy Mike coming back at y'all, man. Week 9 trade deadline in the books. Of course, we didn't make any trades or anything like that, keeping the team intact the way that it has been on our way to our 7-1 start. And this week, we are going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers, our second matchup of the season. The first, of course, coming back in week 1, in which we won a pretty lopsided game. But now, with a 2-game lead over San Francisco, a win here could do wonders. That would essentially give us a 4-game cushion, because we'd be up 3 games in the loss column with the tiebreaker solidified, and it would definitely be an uphill climb for San Francisco to go ahead and, get back into that race. On the other hand, though, a win for them would pull them within 1 game of us with a 1-1 split on the season, and it would make things a lot more interesting down the stretch. As you see, we got a couple of upgrades here, including Glenn Roberts, who now halfway through his second season still really has yet to overly impress, this coaching staff as a whole. He just, I don't know what it is, man. The staff really just feels like he's not seeing easy things on the field. It's really been an issue for us. We've had to rely really heavily on our run game, and our receivers are getting to a point of frustration with our young quarterback. As we see San Francisco's roster, we know what kind of team they are, how much talent they have, both offensively and defensively. And right here, man, one of their up-and-coming young players, bright young future stars, that is going to be cornerback Jeff Sutton, someone that we are familiar with from our games against him last season. Of course, not the best man cover corner, but really good zone coverage wise. And he's not afraid at 5'10" to go ahead and stick his nose in there and really, make a play happen. On the defensive front, Sean Claiborne, someone that the 49ers drafted this past offseason to replace the departed Eric Armstead, who, of course, signed with us. And this is a great player to have in the middle of that defensive line to pair with Nick Bosa. 87 power moves as a rookie, and he's an X factor. Definitely going to be looking to disrupt the run. We know that Ty Davis-Price really runs hard against his former team. And Claiborne is going to be a big part of trying to stop that. Offensively, they will be without receiver Deebo Samuel, one of the most physical receivers in the league, very physically imposing. And once he gets the ball in his hands, he is a handful to bring down. Fortunately, we will not have to go against him today. A big blow to this San Francisco offense, although they do still boast, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, those kinds of things. But one of the guys who's going to be looking to pick up some of that slack where Deebo, he's going to have his targets replaced in this matchup is going to be second-year man Jalen Ford, the big-bodied 6'6", 230-pounder out of LSU, of course, former target of Glenn Roberts back in their college days. And he had a pretty decent, year one, all things considered, had a really nice game against us in one of those matchups. I'm not quite sure. Can't remember off the top of my head. But, at 76 overall, he's going to be looking to use that size against a cornerback room that may not be very well, equipped to deal with that. Danny Gray here, speedster, now in his fourth season, still hasn't really become anything more than just a role player, a depth man. But he's going to have to definitely step in and take a few of those snaps as well. And with his speed, definitely, some deep shots could be in the works for San Francisco. And we know that with McCaffrey in the backfield, speaking of running backs, Ty Davis-Price, shout out from last week, 17 for 145 and 4 touchdowns, going to be looking to build on that performance. But with the threat of McCaffrey in the backfield, you got Kittle at tight end, a dominant left tackle in Trent Williams, and a young quarterback who has shown that if given time and protection and, working this offense on time, even a little bit out of structure, that he can make something happen. Brandon Ayuk, of course, not going to want to hear any of the nonsense about not having Deebo Samuel, nor is Kittle, nor is McCaffrey, and quite frankly, nor are Jalen Ford or Danny Gray. They strap up their they put on their cleats, strap up their shoulder pads the same way that this Arizona team does, and it will be a really good fight here this week in Santa Clara. But let's go ahead and take a look once again at San Francisco's squad. Brock Purdy at quarterback, McCaffrey rocking and rolling at running back. At fullback, you got Kyle Juszczyk. And as previously mentioned, Ayuk leading this receiving core today, Jalen Ford, Danny Gray, and then Ronnie Bell in his third season going to round that out with the injured Deebo Samuel. At tight end, you got George Kittle, Cameron Latu down there as well. Trent Williams manning this offensive line, still one of the steadiest presences in the league on the offensive line as they round it out with right tackle Austin Jackson. Not a great line overall, but Trent Williams certainly helping that overall cause. Drake Jackson and Nick Bosa are going to be those primary edge rushers. Javon Hargrave and Sean Claiborne up the middle with rookie James Conway. Jalen Graham at left outside linebacker, but of course those two linebackers going to be Fred Werner and Dre Greenlaw. Charvarius Ward, Jeff Sutton, and similarly, second-year player Steven Sweed going to get some run here with the injury to Diamador Lenore. Not what you want to see if you're a San Francisco fan, especially considering that, we do have three receivers on this offense that we do trust. Jair Brown and Talanoa Hufanga going to be the safety tandem. And there you see there Mitch Wishnowsky and Jake Moody, the punter and kicker, respectively. As we kick things off, San Francisco going to get the ball to start this game. Brock Purdy ready to lead this offense out onto the field. And on the season so far, Purdy's been decent. 1,827 yards, 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Definitely want to see those touchdown numbers maybe be a smidge higher, but halfway through the season, he's on track for 28 touchdowns, and, can't be too mad at that. As the first play of the game, Eric Armstead busts through the middle of that offensive line and brings down Purdy, ready to get this vendetta going against his old team, it would appear. Cam Wilhelm cleans things up, and it's going to be a 2nd and 21. Wow, scenes on the first play of the game. Now on 2nd and 21, Purdy again back to throw, and he's going to be brought down again. Zaven Collins gets right through that gap, combining with B.J. Ojulari, and they're going to send their secondary way back for a 3rd and 29. Purdy going to set up the screen to Christian McCaffrey. Not going to be too much for him to be able to do. Just a gain of 3 there. And on 4th and 26, they'll punt it away. A quick 3 and out by this Arizona defense. And here is Glenn Roberts ready to lead the offense out onto the field, as his numbers are pretty similar to Purdy. 1,738 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 picks. Does have 3 more touchdowns, but does have 1 more interception as well and slightly fewer passing yards. But they're going to get started at the 48-yard line after a pretty decent return by Antonio Gibson, and Ty Davis Price getting the initial carry of the game, the initial touch for Arizona, that is. A gain of 11 there, down to the 37. Now going to a bunch look on the left-hand side. Roberts going to hand off to Davis Price again, and he has a hole up the middle, able to get around Talanoa Hufanga. A gain of 18 there for Davis Price as he powers into the red zone. And Arizona looking to make something happen with that good defensive stand early in the game, as here's Rondell Moore getting the swing pass, a gain of 12 there, down to the 7, and they are rocking and rolling now, going to a 3 tight end look. Roberts going to hand off Ty Davis Price, but Davis Price is met in the backfield. Javon Hargrave able to make sure that run went nowhere. And after a holding call on 2nd and goal from the 9, it'll be 2nd and goal from the 19. Roberts going to look short across the middle for Rashad Bateman. Not much able to happen there, just a gain of 4 yards. And on 3rd and goal now from the 15, they're going to stay in that empty look. Roberts, you see Nick Bosa now in the zone already on that opening drive. Roberts going to try to get a quick pass to Rashad Bateman, but it's off target, and San Francisco's defense holds, and Arizona going to have to settle for a field goal. Now a 3-0 ball game. San Francisco back out on offense. Purdy has a man open. It's Jalen Ford, and a 15-yard grab for the second-year receiver as he's able to beat Jalen Johnson there on that play. Now 1st and 10. Here we go. Purdy going to hand off. McCaffrey gets his first of the ball game. McCaffrey has space. Whiff tackle there, and McCaffrey has room down the sideline. A 44-yard scamper from Christian McCaffrey on his first touch of the game. And they're deep into Arizona territory now at the 16-yard line already. Really, really bad breakdown and just bad tackling overall from the Arizona defense on that run as Brock Purdy scrambles for 4. It'll be a 2nd and 6 now. Here's Purdy going to hand off Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey has space. Andrew Stinson, the last line of defense, able to bring him down short of the goal line. But they will have 1st and goal from the 1. Just a matter of inches to go for them to sneak into that end zone. Handoff, McCaffrey. Wilhelm back there to deliver the hit, but McCaffrey going to be hit into the end zone, and that is a San Francisco touchdown. The big run from McCaffrey, really the catalyst on that drive. Of course, Purdy finding Jalen Ford on the opening play of it. But McCaffrey finishes it off, and he gives San Francisco the lead. It's going to be a 7-3 ball game. As here we are, Arizona now back on offense. Antonio Gibson finally checking into the game, and Roberts going to drop back. Roberts going to find Rashad Bateman across the middle. That was a risky throw with the all-pro Fred Warner just sitting right there. Roberts able to fortunately get into a spot where only Bateman could get it. And now he'll hand off to Ty Davis-Price, who's only going to have a gain of 3 there. And as we already mentioned, 17 for 145 and 4 scores for Davis-Price last week. Really helping us out to finally get over that Chicago Bears hump. Now 2nd and 7. And the fake from Glenn Roberts. Roberts with Nick Bosa closing in. Has a man downfield. It's Rondale Moore. And he's going to hook up with him just across midfield at the 46-yard line. And they're in San Francisco territory once again. Roberts trying to make some adjustments here at the line. Going to hand off for Davis-Price. Not a whole lot to work with there. Does manage to get forward for a gain of 4. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter with neither offense really doing a whole lot. Of course, San Francisco did get that 75-yard touchdown drive. But Arizona not really having to do a whole lot yet. Haven't done a whole lot as Roberts finds Trey McBride up the seam. A gain of 24. But just 10 points there in the first quarter. Arizona, though, threatening down at the 19-yard line. Roberts, 3 tight end look, going to drop it off for Elijah Higgins. Catch and run there of about 6 yards down to the 14. Now here we go. 2 receivers each side. Gibson into the backfield, and they're going to give it to him. Gibson has some good blocking to work with. A gain of 7 there for Antonio Gibson, getting his first touch of the day. Now 1st and goal. Here we go. You see 2 tight ends on the line. Roberts going to try to look left side for Rashad Bateman, and Jeff Sutton delivers a big hit to Bateman, who never had a chance at that one. So now 2nd and goal. Roberts going to flip the play around. Looks like he sees something he wants to take advantage of. He's going to hand it off to Davis-Price left side, but Davis-Price only able to get 1 before Charvarius Ward closes in on him. Now a 3rd and goal. 3 receiver look, 1 tight end. He's going to swing it out to Antonio Gibson, who gets around Talanoa Hufanga and dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Gibson, with just his 2nd offensive touch of the game, manages to find his way into the end zone after, putting a nice little move there. No, not Talanoa Hufanga. That was Fred Warner. Sorry about that. But it is now going to be a 10-7 ball game. Arizona fighting back, and San Francisco looking to respond as Purdy under center. Going to take the snap. Purdy trying to roll out, is going to have a man open across the middle of the field. It's George Kittle. A 23-yard gain there for their star tight end. And he's going to have them set up at just about midfield. Empty look now, as here's Purdy looking right side. Andrew Stinson all over that one, breaking it up. Nothing much happening on 2nd down either, so it'll be a 3rd and 10, as here's Purdy dropping back. Purdy trying to find somewhere to go, looking to scramble with it, but B.J. Ojolari's all over it, bringing down Purdy. Now 1.5 sacks on the game and the third total sack for this Arizona defense, giving the ball back to their offense and what's looking like a slugfest so far. As here's Antonio Gibson on a 2nd and 8 carry, just a gain of 1 there. It'll be a 3rd and 7, trying to avoid a quick 3 and out. Here's Glenn Roberts. Roberts has time, looking deep, has a man. Rondale Moore had a step. He had a step, but the San Francisco defender able to jump up, put his hand in there, and swat it away. As here's McCaffrey on the next drive, just missing tackles left and right. This Arizona defense is gain of 15 there for Christian McCaffrey. Jalen Johnson fortunately brings him down. And once again, at right about midfield, here's Purdy dropping back, has a man. It's going to be Jalen Ford again. No, that's Danny Gray. Now 2nd and 3. Here's Purdy calling out some things to his offense. Want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Drops one short, looking for Brandon Ayuk, broken up once again by Andrew Stinson. So here we go on a 3rd and 3. Trips look to the right. Purdy looking right side, is not going to find anyone except for Jalen Johnson. Johnson gets right in front of that, hawk down though by Jalen Ford, and Purdy with his first big mistake of the game gives Arizona the ball back with a chance to extend their lead. We see the route combo that they were looking for, tried to drop it down to Danny Gray, but Jalen Johnson right there to pick it off. And with 3:06 to go in the first half, Arizona going to be looking to put even more points on the board, starting with Ty Davis-Price for a gain of 3. Now 2nd and 7. Here's Roberts looking deep for Rashad Bateman. Once again, had his man beat, and Roberts cannot connect with him on that occasion. Now 3rd and 7. Roberts going to actually hand off to Antonio Gibson. Risky decision there, but it pays off. The 11-yard run from Antonio Gibson, unfortunately, is going to leave Dalton Murray with an injury. More on him momentarily. 2:25 to go in the first half. Another handoff to Antonio Gibson, but this time they are ready for it. A loss of 1, as you see Dalton Murray, broken ribs, will not return, which means the rookie James Rivera set to take over at center for the remainder of the ball game. Now a delayed give to Antonio Gibson. They're liking these runs up the middle, it would seem. Minute 53 to go. 3rd and 7, 35-yard line. Here's Roberts dropping back. Roberts trying to find a man. Nick Bosa in the backfield to break things up, and they'll settle for a field goal once again. That'll leave a minute and 29 seconds for San Francisco with all 3 timeouts. And they'll start quickly left side with a swing pass out to the second-year running back Manny Wilkinson. Not much there, though, just a gain of 1. They're going to keep Wilkinson in the game, and they're going to drop it off to him once again. He is able to find some more space that time around. They're going to hurry things up here. Purdy. You see McCaffrey lined up out wide. Purdy gonna find Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, on a 9-yard sitting route. A minute and 1 second left to go here in the opening half. Purdy with McCaffrey in the backfield, gonna look short, has a man. It's Ayuk, and Ayuk fighting for as many yards as he can muster. A gain of 9 there. Purdy still yet to crack that 100-yard mark through the air. 1st and 10 now. They're loving this formation, and Wilkinson continues to kill them out of the backfield. Their second timeout used now of the half. Just 1 remaining with 32 seconds to go, and they're going to have to be mindful as here we go. Going to drop it middle of the field for Danny Gray, and Gray again fighting, man. They are definitely working for every yard. Arizona's defense needs to make something happen here, as here's Purdy rolling out, and Purdy is brought down. Purdy. Oh, there is a flag, though, and they're going to call holding on Aaron Banks, the left guard. So Juan Drummond will be able to keep that sack. It'll be a 2nd and 14, which should be the last play of the half. Purdy going to go ahead and throw it away. They're going to send the field goal team out there to try to make it a 3-point game heading into the half. Jake Moody, kick is up. Kick is right down the middle. And it'll be a 13-10 ball game after the first half of play. Both defenses really being stingy. No unit in this game has made it to 100 yards so far. Purdy close, though, with 98 passing yards. And as we go ahead and take a look around the league, we see the Rams in Tennessee, and they win their fifth game, 18-17 over the Tennessee Titans. Tua with 2 touchdowns. The rookie Nolan Broyles, 5 catches, 75 yards. We know how dynamic he can be. Had quite a few good catches against us earlier in our matchup against them. Cleveland in Baltimore, another 1-point game. The Ravens sitting at just 1-7. 2 touchdowns from Lamar, not enough. Deshaun Watson manages to get just enough thanks to a big game on the ground from Nick Chubb. And we see Philly beating Washington. Dallas taking care of business against the Panthers. Any more divisional news? Not really going to be much more to speak of. But that first half, man, we definitely saw that the run game is something that we should be able to lean on. Their secondary and just pass defense in general has been very, very good. So we need to make sure that we're putting Glenn Roberts in this offense in positions to succeed as we do get the kick to start the second half. Antonio Gibson going to take it out to the 22-yard line. As you see, Davis Price, we were just mentioning, 54 yards on 9 carries, averaging 6 a pop. And Antonio Gibson's had a few decent runs as well. So something we need to continue to lean on because that has been the recipe for success for this team under Glenn Roberts. 1st and 10. Roberts going to fake it to Davis Price, going to quickly dump it down to Elijah Higgins, and he's going to have a gain of 6 there down to the 27-yard line, setting up a 2nd and 4. You see 2 running backs in the backfield, Gibson and Davis Price, 3 receivers set. Roberts has time, looking across the middle for Chase Claypool, but into the hands of Fred Warner, who is dropped by Antonio Gibson. But Glenn Roberts, a horrible decision there. It worked earlier in the game when he threw a crosser, well, a slant rather, to Rashad Bateman with Fred Warner in the vicinity. This time, Warner, reading the eyes of the quarterback, gives the ball back to his team early in this second half. And San Francisco now essentially with the ball to start both halves. And Purdy with the fake to McCaffrey going to be dropped. Zaven Collins in there again. And him and Ojulari have done a number on this offensive line. 5 sacks now on the day for Arizona. And after not much happening on 2nd down, 3rd and 18, give to McCaffrey. Jalen Thompson snuffs it out. They'll be at the 42-yard line and send out Jake Moody for a 59-yard kick attempt. Kick is up, and Moody sends it right through the uprights, and he had plenty of leg on that one. Looked like it might have been good for him, about 65 or so. So it'll be a tie ball game, 13-13 with 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Roberts, again, the play action rollout. He's going to have a man. Claypool this time. Gain of 16 there. Claypool with his first catch of the day. And Roberts now officially over 100 yards through the air. 1st and 10, Trips look to the left, going to give it off to Antonio Gibson again. Looked like he missed a hole on the left-hand side. Gain of just 4 there. As Davis Price back into the game, McBride on the move to the left-hand side. Davis Price, good blocking up front. Really good blocking. Able to get down to the 30-yard line before Talanoa Hufanga pushes him out of bounds. Really, really good run there from Davis Price. And when the passing game isn't working, it's those kinds of plays you depend on from the running game. As here's Roberts looking deep for Claypool, who was wide open. Had Charvarius Ward beat on the deep ball. And let's see what happens. Claypool beats him immediately off the line. Roberts sees it, gives him a chance, and Claypool just drops it in his hands, and Claypool drops it. Not ideal. Would have been a big-time play for this offense. Instead, 2nd and 10. Roberts does hook up with Rondale Moore there for a gain of 22, but that is not what you want to see if you're this Arizona team, man. Gotta get those gimmies, and that certainly was one of those. As here's Antonio Gibson with the give up the middle. Gain of 5 down to the 3-yard line. Now 2nd and goal. And you see they have quite a heavy front San Francisco does, and they're going to be all over Davis Price. Nowhere to go, a loss of 1. And now here we go, 3rd and goal. 2 receivers each side. Davis Price in the backfield. They're going to hand it to him. Davis Price gets good blocking up front, lowers the shoulder, but walks in pretty much untouched into the end zone. And for the Arizona touchdown, Davis Price now with his 5th touchdown over the last 2 games. Nothing spectacular, just handing it off to one of your best offensive players, getting your blocks up front, trusting them to lead the way, and Arizona back in the lead. It's a 20-13 ball game. San Francisco now back on the offensive end, and you can definitely tell that they're missing Deebo Samuel as McCaffrey gets the give and able to find room for a gain of 6 to the 31-yard line. Just 13 points they've managed through the first 2.5 or so quarters here. As left side, George Kittle has it. Purdy finding him for a gain of 9. But Ayuk and Kittle have certainly picked up a lot of that slack. We've seen Jalen Ford and Danny Gray get plenty of targets so far, and McCaffrey's been doing a great job on the ground as well, despite the no gain on that attempt. 2nd and 10 now. Purdy in the shotgun. McCaffrey remains in the backfield. They're going to give it to him one more time. Here's McCaffrey, has plenty of space. Fortunately, going to be brought down by Lewis Seen, but not good gap assignments on that particular play. 1st and 10 now, just across midfield. Purdy flipping things around, and he's going to have a man right side. No, he's not. The pass intended for Jalen Ford, broken up by Andrew Stinson, who has become one of the best corners in the league, man, right in front of our very eyes, just in his 2nd season. And 2nd and 10 carry to McCaffrey. He stumbles forward to get over 100 yards on the ball game, a 3rd and inches. And this time he is going to have his man Ford on the quick slant. Jalen Ford holds on through a big hit to convert that 1st down. Now 1st and 10, fake to Christian McCaffrey, has a man. It's Kittle, but Kittle is lit up there by Juan Drummond. Really good job from him there, getting in there to break things up as McCaffrey once again there for the carry, 9 yards down to the 22-yard line. And what should be the last play here of the 3rd quarter, Purdy going to fake it to McCaffrey again, looking deep, and Jalen Johnson nearly intercepted it. It would have been his 2nd of the game. Instead, he drops it, and it'll be a 4th and 1 that San Francisco is going to go for. They're going to hand it off to Manny Wilkinson, who has space, and Wilkinson is into the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco. Not the guy you would have thought would have killed this defense. Not a guy we would have thought they would have designed a play for on a 4th down. Gotta have it. But they do, and it works out in their favor. San Francisco able to tie this ball game up pending the extra point heading into the 4th quarter. And what's been a back and forth affair, Jake Moody been perfect all day on his kicks, and he continues that streak. It's a 20-20 ball game heading into the 4th quarter. Both of these offenses, passing offenses, still pretty much sleepwalking through the day, but both running games have been putting these teams in really good positions. As here we go, first play of the 4th quarter. Roberts gonna hand off to Davis Price, who has a hole, not really. Tried to lower the shoulder through Jalen Graham. Doesn't work out. Jair Brown bringing him down that time. 2nd and 6. Here's McBride coming in motion to the left side. Gibson in the backfield. They're going to give it to him this time. Has some blocking. Able to find a little bit of space for a gain of about 12 down to the 41-yard line. Now 2 receivers each side. Gibson remaining in the backfield. The read option keeper from Glenn Roberts, who has Hufanga all over him, but he's able to find his way for 17 there. Really, really good job by Glenn Roberts on that occasion. Davis Price has some space. Jukes one man out, is going to be brought down, though, at the 28-yard line as he now is over 100 yards rushing on the day. 1st and 10. Roberts going to give the quick pass out to the left to Rashad Bateman, whose name we have not called many times here, as I believe that's just his 2nd catch of the game. 2nd and 9, another quick swing pass out to Rondale Moore gets about 9 yards. Really good blocking, as you see these receivers are committing to that role so far in this game. Handoff, Davis Price brought down Nick Bosa all over it. Gain of 1. Now just under 6 minutes to go. 2nd and 9. Roberts with the pump fake. Going to try to lay one out there for Rondale Moore. And if he would have thrown the initial ball, you got to think Rondale gets into the end zone or very close to it. Instead, it's a 3rd and 9. And Arizona has not been great on these 3rd down conversions today, and they're going to miss once again. Jeff Sutton knocking down the pass intended for Rashad Bateman, and Arizona gives the ball back to San Francisco after settling for the field goal. 1st and 10. Purdy has a man right side. It's Kittle who's able to get just across that 1st down marker. Jalen Johnson bringing him down. Now you see 3 receivers to the left side trying to find Ayuk on that occasion, not going to be able to connect with him. Stinson again breaking that pass up. I feel like we've heard us call his name quite a few times in this matchup. Purdy laying one out. That's Juszczyk's 2nd catch now of the day. Interesting that he's been able to find these lanes, but it'll be a 3rd and 3. Purdy takes the snap, fakes it to McCaffrey. Pressure in his face, tries to get it quickly out of his hands, not able to, and Arizona forces the punt, and the offense now just 4:23 to go could potentially salt this game away in a very similar game to what happened in their 2nd matchup last year, where it ended up being a 23-20 ball game. 3:42 to go. Time clicking down on that play clock, or ticking down rather. And oh man, Davis Price saw all that green in front of him. Unfortunately, wasn't able to break off the initial tackle, but it will be a 2nd and 4. 2:59 now to go here in the 4th quarter as Davis Price again powers forward for the 1st down. He is going to be forced out of bounds though, unfortunately, so the clock will stop. They're going to go to a bunch look on the left-hand side. Glenn Roberts under center, handoff to Davis Price, powering through 1, gain of 3 there, down to the 45-yard line. Should be the last play before the 2-minute warning. 5 seconds on the play clock. 2nd and 7. Glenn Roberts going to just barely get it off, and again keeping it on the read option. He's going to be brought down by Hufanga once again, and that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. San Francisco trailing Arizona 23-20. And on 3rd and 2 from San Francisco's 49-yard line, you see they have the box with 3 linebackers. Roberts going to look deep. Aaron one out for Rondale Moore, who had a step, but Roberts not able to get it where it needed to go. And they're going to keep the offense out there on 4th and 2. Not sure how smart of a decision this is with the way that the defense has handled, this San Francisco offense with relative ease throughout the day. And they're going to hand it off to Antonio Gibson, who is hit immediately. Antonio Gibson not able to make it happen. And the turnover on downs will give San Francisco the ball down just 3 points, all 3 timeouts, and needing just 51 yards for the potential to potentially take the lead, and even less than that to potentially tie the ball game. As here's Purdy, Aaron one out for Kittle on their first snap of the possession. Zaven Collins fortunately able to get a hand in there and knock that one away. Now 2nd and 10. Purdy remaining in the shotgun. You see J-Ron Kearse now playing more of that box linebacker role, the box safety role rather, as a 4-yard gain, and first time out by San Francisco will see us with a 3rd and 6 to go. Arizona needs to get off the field here. They won't. Instead, Ford has it, hauls it in for about 15 there. Going to hurry things up to the line of scrimmage. Brock Purdy takes the snap. Purdy has a wide open man. It's Ford, and Ford off to the races. Touchdown, San Francisco. Ford filling in for Deebo Samuel, someone who had been targeted throughout the game, but Stinson had him on lock for most of the duration of it, finding a wide open space that time around. The ill-advised blitz attempt sees Ford stay wide open, and a 33-yard pretty much walk into the end zone gives San Francisco a 4-point lead which means Arizona with 1:15 on the clock going to need to go 75 yards with 3 timeouts and get into the end zone as he finds Antonio Gibson on that Texas route out of the backfield. Just under a minute to go now. Going to find Antonio Gibson again, who's hit down by Hufanga. They'll use their first timeout now of the ball game. 2nd and 2. Here's Roberts looking across the middle. Has Claypool, but Claypool can't hold on to it. Fred Warner rocks him. And it'll be a 3rd and 2 now at their own 44-yard line. Here's Roberts taking the snap. Roberts trying to find Rondale Moore, but he overshoots him. And he finds Jeff Sutton instead, who with no timeouts remaining for Arizona, that means that will be a wrap to this ball game. And Kyle Shanahan exercising his Arizona Cardinals demons. It's their first win against head coach Mike White since he took over as coach. And you see how happy Kyle Shanahan is there on the sidelines. San Francisco eking out a hard-fought victory, a game that was not easy for either team. In the end, San Francisco's offense able to make that one extra play, those 2 extra plays when they really counted. And you got to think back to the 4th down attempt by the offense, when they could have punted the ball and forced San Francisco to drive further down the field. As you see, they did outgain San Francisco just narrowly as far as total offense, more first downs. And one more turnover, though. 3 of 9 on 3rd down for Arizona, 2 of 8 for San Francisco, including 4 of 4 in the red zone for Arizona. Not the type of game you would typically expect this team to lose. Purdy, 17 of 28 for 196, a touchdown and a pick. His longest throw of the game, that game-sealing touchdown by Jalen Ford. Roberts, 2 picks, 1 touchdown. Just not a great game from him. Ty Davis-Price, 127 and a score on 19 carries. McCaffrey, incredibly efficient, 110 yards on 10 carries, also finding the end zone. Manny Wilkinson, just not what you want to see as far as finding the end zone on that 4th down play to end the 3rd quarter. Rondale Moore leading all receivers for Arizona, 4 for 63. As you see, Rashad Bateman just 16 yards in this game on 3 catches. Not great. Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner with 9 tackles apiece. Sack-wise, B.J. Ojulari and Zaven Collins each with 1.5. And you see Juan Drummond there with 1 as well. A couple of interceptions and no defensive touchdowns for either team. Juan Drummond getting a nice upgrade here, up to a 78 now. +2 block shed is huge, man. Definitely what you want to see, continuing the development of a young stud, 24 years old, hopefully going to be a key piece on this defensive line for years to come. Davis-Price, already one of the best backs in the league, getting another upgrade point. Going to go ahead and throw that into elusive back. He's going to get +2 carrying, +2 change of direction. And center Dalton Murray going to miss the next 4 games, unfortunately, with that broken ribs injury. And heading into week 10, we're going to face another 5-3 team, this time the Atlanta Falcons. And as you see in the division, Arizona just 1 game up now of the Niners, and just 1 game up in the loss column as well of the Rams. Rams, though, just having an early bye week, but a win there, and 1 more Arizona loss anywhere else, and just like that, it could be a 3-way, dogfight for the division. But Arizona going to have to correct some things in this next game. I do still think the defense played outstandingly well, despite the loss. 27 points, obviously not great. You don't want to allow 27 as a general rule. But outside of a few big McCaffrey runs and just a couple of throws from or a couple of plays that's just not clear and concise communication on that back end, we think we handled them. Now, yes, they were missing Debo, but next game with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, the job will not get any easier. Definitely, as far as the NFC landscape goes, going to have to do our best to make sure we get a win there. As always, thank you so much for joining. Be sure to like and subscribe should you feel so inclined. Until next time, have a great rest of y'all day, and peace.